When you first see a wrestler, what do you think? You don't know because the brain is crazy. It's why the aesthetic is so damn important in sports entertainment though, because if somebody does look a certain way, it may light up your tum-tum. Certainly we are a reactionary bunch as well. It also means certain individuals get judged as we do point at them, and then we give it a year and we're like, man, we shouldn't have done that so fast, because actually they are great. That is the question I put to you for today, my friends. Who got this the worst before we did have to apologize? I'm Simon Miller. Let's go. Number 10, Dominic Mysterio. I mean, it makes sense. It was Rey Mysterio's child. And in the day that we do live in, it was just like, you ain't nothing but a Nepo baby, son. And we ain't ever gonna like you. And it is true as well that when Dommy Boy first broke in, there really wasn't much about him, apart from the fact he did come from an amazing family. And let's not forget his first proper match was at SummerSlam, when he took on Seth Rollins. So there was a like, oh, that's not fair. If you put him against someone like Seth, of course he's gonna look good. Little did we know. I mean, just go back to 2020 if you have no life and look through some social media threads. Some people were even insulting his wrestling gear. I mean, when you do first break in to professional wrestling, you should have a bit of leeway, but nope, we were like, change your pants. I suppose we all took stock again after the Clash of the Castle pay-per-view, after Dominic had punched Rey Mysterio and Edge right in the testicles. And from there, he never looked back. He joined the Judgment Day. He teamed up with Rhea Ripley. And let's face it, in terms of rookies or new guys on the block, he's absolutely fantastic. It sort of makes sense when you break it right down too, because if Rey Mysterio, old Papa Bear, was the proverbial babyface, well, of course, then Dom was going to be the proverbial bad guy. I mean, one day he probably will become a hero, maybe even win a world title. But until then, that man knows exactly what he's doing, and we were wrong. Number 9, Baron Corbin. I never really understood this one, because despite clearly improving every single week when he was down at NXT, Baron never really got thrown into the same brackets as the likes of a Finn Balor or a Kevin Owens. Now, I'm sure it's because the latter were from the indie scene, whereas Baron Corbin was a football player. And obviously, if that happens today, we all get it because of the NIL program. But even like 8 to 9 to 10 years ago, whatever it was, some people did raise their eyebrow and they were like, you're not a real wrestler. It's weird. Corbin was just so damn great at the Lone Wolf, and he did bring that up to the main roster when he first debuted. But once again, it just felt like he had to try a little bit harder than everybody else. The Kurt Angle retirement didn't help through no fault of his own. That Constable Corbin stuff, my gosh. But eventually, he became Rich Corbin and Happy Corbin and Sad Corbin, and his work in the ring was as tight as a screw. And then finally we were like, man, we think we misjudged this guy. He knows what he's doing. All of this was totally proved when he did get released though, because what was the general consensus? Well, you shouldn't have done that, WWE. You dropped the ball. I mean, maybe some of this is on our shoulders, because we should have supported him for longer. But mostly we should get mad at Vincent Kennedy McMahon. When Baron Corbin was the sad, homeless guy, we had so much potential and we threw it away. I am never going to get over it. Number 8, Mike Bennett. So 2008 was a very different time for professional wrestling, because if you hated WWE, you would not even go near that product, and you'd take all your love and passion and you would throw it out onto the indie scene. It's one of the reasons Ring of Honor got so popular. It also meant these individuals got very protective of the product. So when Mike Bennett debuted and they decided, you shouldn't be here, you're like a WWE babyface, well, that poor guy got it in the neck. Now, Mike totally understood the game and he led into this. And he was essentially like, don't worry, my friends. I am going to take Ring of Honor to heights you never thought possible. But simultaneously, people did think he was bad for the brand. It's kind of nuts. Because he handled it so well and got so good in the ring, though, eventually everyone had to shrug their shoulders and be like, okay, fine. We did get a bit too ahead of ourselves here. This man is still wrestling today. He's carved quite the career for himself. So it just goes to show that tribalism has been around way longer than AEW has been into existence. And it's stupid now, and it was stupid then. Number 7, Nia Jax. Nia Jax is great, and I won't hear anything else. And nobody is better at being Nia Jax than Nia Jax. If you do go back to her first WWE run, though, good grief, in the face. Everybody was on her case all the time. That rhymes, so it must be true. Especially because we were like, oh man, she injures other wrestlers. It's like, I don't think we can make that assumption. Wait until the other wrestlers actually talk about it. Vince McMahon didn't care about that though, and pushed her hard as a monster in 2016, which once again irked the audience. But do not forget, even around that time, she went babyface and she had that great bullying feud with Alexa Bliss, which ended with her winning the title. I mean, that was really well done. For whatever reason, though, Nia Jax eventually got released before she returned in 2023. And once again, everyone was like, oh man, not Nia Jax. And what did she do? she went on the best run of her career. It was so damn good too, eventually even her most hardened critic had to go, all right, well, I understand the entertainment and the joy here, and be it in the ring or when she's insulting people on the mic, and she is funny, she is just a brilliant heel. So it just goes to show sometimes you do just have to be a little bit patient. I mean, imagine a world without Nia Jax, which we had at one point. I wouldn't want that. I look forward to seeing what she's going to do every single week. Number 6, DDP. I mean, it seems crazy, right? How can anybody get on DDP's case? The man is quite literally a hero. He's also a huge inspiration because Diamond Dallas Page's first match didn't happen until August 1991 in WCW. By that point, he was like 32 years old. Of course, that just meant people instantly wrote him off because they were like, oh, we don't want that glitzy manager who's just talked all this time to get in the ring. Therefore, not only was he battling age or being an older wrestler, but he had to battle this too. The thing is, though, this was DDP. He never listened to anything like that because he's fueled by positivity. And come 1997, the Macho Man Randy Savage looked at him and was like, this guy is clearly very, very good. I can do something with him. And they embarked on a feud. DDP won it. And I tell you, it's some really good stuff. 2 years after that, Page had made it all the way to the top as well because he came WCW champion. And this is a visual cue. Just go and watch it. Everybody was over the moon for it because he had changed their minds. Nobody would have thought that was ever going to happen about a decade before this, though. So in many ways, he was like the old-fashioned John Cena. Never give up on yourself. Always believe. And who the flub knows what you can achieve. Number 5, The Miz. Well, we all know this story. I mean, not only did The Miz have to fight the fans, he had to fight the other wrestlers. Chris Benoit once kicked him out of the locker room because he ate some chicken. How dare you? It really all came from the fact that Mike Mizanin was seen as a reality TV star, but when you go back and watch that MTV reality show that he was on, all he does is talk about pro wrestling. I think he liked it. He also went through the Tough Enough route, and everybody that entered that competition had to be kicked in the balls. And yeah, when he first made it onto WWE, he made a lot of verbal faux pas. Honestly, he could not have been further in the mud. Because he was just so damn tenacious, though. He just climbed that ladder, became one of the best heels in WWE to the point he main evented WrestleMania 27 as the WWE champion. And this wasn't charity, man. The dude had put in the hours. It all comes to the modern day where most fans are like, all right, fine, we do totally get it. Because he has not only had a Hall of Fame career, he has had a run that some people would kill for. And I say that trepidatiously, or figuratively, I mean, but I actually think some people mean it. So really, even though the WWE Universe had totally made up their minds and were adamant they weren't going to change, The Miz was just too good. And he's still good now. I mean, he really is like nobody else. Number 4, The Rock. I mean, this entry could be really short if we wanted. All I have to say is that around about 1996, people went to wrestling shows with signs, and what did these signs say? Die, Rocky, die. I mean, I don't think they were talking German. It really was a case of wrong place, wrong time for Rocky Maivia, because he was told to go out there and smile, even when he was going through adversity. And at the same time, fans just wanted to cheer Stone Cold Steve Austin, so he was doomed. Before long, everybody decided, why is WWF shoving this guy down our throats? So they did start to boo him, and it was not great. Now, to be fair, they weren't wrong. This was the way the atmosphere was changing, and it's why when The Rock did hurt his knee and came back to the WWE, everybody decided, right, you're joining the Nation of Domination, you're going to be a heel. And then, in around about 1 year, he was the biggest thing in wrestling. It was just an upward trend from here, and he would go on to main event many a WrestleMania when he left to go to Hollywood. Just crazy that people were being like, man, you suck, we hate you, we're never gonna like you. And now he can come back 24 hours beforehand and ratings go through the roof. I mean, even when some of this returned in 2024 because of the Cody Rhodes situation, he turned it around with the final boss. So he's just on his own plane now, and he ain't never gonna come back. Number 3, Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus had to earn every single thing she got. Do not forget when she debuted in the WWE, she was managing a team called TNA. And yes, that's exactly what you think. It was utter garbage. It's all because women's wrestling was a joke back then, under the watch of Vince McMahon, and he had conditioned his audience that if you were going to get two females fighting, well, they should be slapping or rolling around, or competing in the dreaded bra and panties match. So when Trish Stratus decided, nah, I don't want to do that, I want to properly wrestle, she had 2 different battles to fight, because 1, she had this perception, but 2, nobody had actually trained her how to wrestle, so she had to learn on the job. I don't actually know how she did it. It also meant through sheer force of will, she was able to change this thought process. And do not forget, with the Women's Championship over her arm, she headlined Raw with Lita. and nobody saw that coming. It was properly historic. And it's not like the whole attitude changed because we were still getting a lot of this nonsense, but Trish just made sure to never give up. There's John Cena again. And when she did retire, everybody was like, well, we're gonna miss you, because yeah, she had changed the game. That's why she keeps coming back now. She's a legend. Number 2, Seth Rollins. So this seems mad, right? Because as of right now, me talking to you, Seth Rollins is like a cornerstone of the entire WWE product. It was 2010 though, when he was wrestling in Ring of Honor as Tyler Black. Again, you can see this online. Everyone was like, man, what a stupid decision to sign with WWE. Give it a year and you're just gonna be jobbing to John Cena. Now really, that's not the worst place to be, but it went further than this, because we actually had Seth Rollins, as he would become known, being fired in 2011 before he would have to beg for his Ring of Honor job back. Well, that's not what happened. He flew through developmental, he got put in the Shield, and really ever since 2014, he's never looked back. He has become a proper main eventer. Now, we are only scratching the surface here because this animosity was pretty high, but eventually, once again, we keep saying this, fans are like, well, he's a world champion and his matches are pretty brilliant. I think we need to start saying that we really like Seth Rollins and Tyler Black can go away. In many ways, he's become an archetype for what other wrestlers in this position could do. If you follow his template, you're probably going to be all right. These days, too, his biggest detractors have become his biggest supporters. And Seth Rollins really is a guy that will retire at some point, and then we'll look back and go, man, we didn't appreciate him enough. He did a really good job. Number 1, John Cena. I mean, you could argue this didn't change until 2023, because before then, every time John Cena walked out into an audience, you never actually knew what you were going to get. It, of course, started with his debut against Kurt Angle way back in 2002, when he slapped the Olympic gold medalist. And really, he shouldn't have said into a microphone, ruthless aggression. That's what Vince McMahon had been saying. So instantly the audience was like, are you just a boss's boy? We don't like a boss's boy. Despite looking amazing too, eventually people just decided Cena was nothing but a physique and that he was like the base model for a creator wrestler. And that is not where you want to be in world wrestling entertainment, because you need a gimmick and you need a voice. And do not forget, if we do believe the rumor mill, management felt the same about him too. They were actually going to release him. It's why the rap gimmick that he eventually took on became so important, because instantly he connected with the crowd and everyone went, oh, wait, no, he's not boring. He's really funny and he's got some chops. It meant for a good few years, people just loved this guy, which did lead him to his WWE Championship. And of course, eventually he had to drop this persona when he did become Mr. Never Give Up. And that's when he divided people right down the middle. But because we'd never seen this before, it just made John even more interesting. And listen, now we get to 2025, everybody's jumped on board because he has hit the upper echelon of legend, and they're ever going to change. Everybody wants to hug John Cena. So it is just undeniable now, and so far away from when he did used to march out to generic music. And trust me, nobody thought that guy was going to change the business for 20 years, which is why we should keep our opinions to ourselves just for a little while, because ultimately, we just do not know. Not many other people we judge way too fast who went on to become superstars. Let us know in the comments below. Before you like the video, share the video and subscribe. Click the video on the screen for yet more wrestling content from this bald idiot. But otherwise, I appreciate you, my friends. I'll see you soon.